founders, creatives, content creators who have been some of the people, not even just in Cardano, but just like, even just Web3 overall, that have really like stuck out to you? Because I know like to kind of pass the ESCO, mark is something.
Yeah. Actually, as the space has matured, I think that we're seeing a lot more of those. Honestly, I mean, if you recall back, I mean, we were minting a new project every day, and none of us had the initiative or foresight to be like, hey, this can't be sustainable. This literally can't. It doesn't make sense. But we were caught up in the moment, being like, next mint, the next flip, and we all came into that. At least I'll speak for myself. I came into that originally as a trader and to seek opportunity, financial gain and everything. And after 6 months of being around that, and I'm like, okay, I remember I minted 138 Mars burrs or whatever for like 8 ADA, and flipped them for a bunch later, and that was like a high volume play. That was my very first like high volume play. And after that, I was like, I kind of had seen it from just buying one NFT, flipping and making money, to then buying. And then after that, I was like, that's when I started being like, dude, I think that I can do more. I think that this space, there's something to it. And that's when I started going towards first conceptualizing if Ruggable was going to be like a sustainable product. And I'm glad that I stuck, continuing to evolve that idea over time, and never did a mint or anything like that. Just issued those tokens for like 5 ADA or something. And it was part of a test to test out the very first API, blockchain based API, to distribute, like a faucet API to distribute the tokens. And it was my very first experience, doing anything in the space, which again, self-funded the development and all that type of stuff. So, when I went into the lane of like, trying to be a founder at that time, then my whole perspective changed, and I started looking at things for, is this going to be sustainable? Is this actually, what is the value proposition of this company? What is it? What's the problem that it solves? Is it meeting a need or a want, or what is it, right? And I think that we were still at the infancy of like, PFPs and building communities and that type of stuff. The same 2,000 people building 500 communities also didn't make sense, but we were behind it because it was supporting the current thing. But now, after the bear market and the steep decline, and the people that were just about easy money gone because no longer the return is there, and all the people that stuck around in the companies that kept building, I've definitely have had the pleasure. First of all, like, shout outs to iGone. iGone is a decentralized storage and compute, with nodes sharded, encrypted, kind of like a Dropbox type of service, but using Cardano as its access layer, and then pretty much running its own network of node operators, which provide, storage, and here shortly compute as well, which is going to be cool. You'll be able to like host and run whole websites and stuff, from storing to actually the compute component. And I work for them as a consultant. Imagine that. So, for sticking around, really understanding the community, really understanding realistically what it was about, how to communicate with the people that you understand what they care about. The opportunity came to work for iGone. I've been working for them for 7 months. Check them out. It's seriously, they're making some strides in decentralized data storage and so on. And that's a company that, is actually solving a problem, right? There's other companies that I would highlight as well. I don't work for them, or I have no interest. I don't get paid or anything like that. But there's a company called Zerberos, which is on-chain data analytics that
Aware of them.
yeah, that they analyze the chain to give a risk assessment on the network of a token. You know what I mean? So, for example, how safe of a bet, or how safe is a token to hold or invest into, sort of thing. So now we're seeing the evolution of these companies to, products and services that improve the experience of newcomers and already existing users alike. So instead of just having to go do all this research, which is still encouraged, do your own research. You can please,
please.
You can go to, to this protocol that, will give you a risk assessment. on a token, right? So those type of things didn't exist, 2 years ago when we were in, and we were just blindly taking people's words for it and then getting wrecked. There's another company that I literally just had a meeting with earlier. It's very similar to that. It's called Crowd Trends. They're coming soon. It's the same thing. It's a crowd trend analysis. There's going to be is data analytics to providing risk assessment, or crowd trend data, so then people
Okay.
can move more safely in the space. So these are the kind of companies that now I'm really stoked on, that are actually solving problems, and that's not just limited to them. There's more, but otherwise I'll be here all day telling you about top 10 companies and all that.
Well, before we go on, because I know like the NFT community was such a big topic of conversations. Any NFT? I know you NFTs that you stick out to you. I know you mentioned Mallard and Ape Society for a sec. Any other like under the radar people that you like?
To be honest, like, shout outs to the Ape Society. That's a very strong community. They were a big part of empowering me. Their whole community supported me a lot while I was, hosting spaces and building a little bit of a presence for myself in the space. The founders are amazing, hardworking team.